Hello, friends. Thank you for joining us. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood as we are going to learn how to solve equations with variables on both sides. Let's take a look at the first example. It's one of these balances once again. Suppose a circle is worth 60 and a triangle is worth 40. It might be a good idea to just write those in. A circle is 60 and that triangle is worth 40. We're going to set up an equation that can be used to solve for the missing values, so the value of those squares. So if you look on the left side and you count all the squares, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. So we're going to call that 4x. And after we have the 4x, we still have to add in that triangle. So we're adding 40. And then we go to the right side and we see 2 of those squares and then a 60. So we're going to put is equal to 2 of the squares plus 60. Now what we've done in class to solve these is, remember, you can keep this scale in balance if you take away the same from both sides. So what I'm going to do there, I'm going to take away 2 of those boxes from both sides and it should still be in balance. So let's go back to the equation and see what happens there. What I did was I took this 2x over on the right side and I just got rid of them. So what we're going to do is subtract 2x from both sides. And by doing that, those 2x's go away. And we're left with 2x on the left plus 40 is equal to 60. And hopefully you can see that 2x on the left plus 40 is equal to 60. The next thing that we want to get rid of is this 40. So if I take away 40 from this side on the left, I can take away 40 from the right side, but I'm still going to have some left over. So if I take away 40 here and I take away 40 here, that circle is left with 20. So you could have imagined that this was broken up into 2 pieces where one was worth 40 and the other one was worth 20, and we just took away that 40 and we're left with the 20 over there. So what we really just did was subtracted 40 from both sides. And now we're left with 2x is equal to 20, and you see that because these 2 here are still equal to the 20 that remains. And kind of common sense, if 2 of them are worth 20, each one is going to be worth 10. To do that, you just divide by 2. So we're going to divide by 2, and we get x is equal to 10. So that's kind of a visual representation of what solving equations with variables on both sides is going to look like. There's going to be one really big hint, and I'm going to give you that hint now. When you're trying to decide which one to move, either the 2x or the 4x, it's probably better to start with the smaller number. So in this case, I started with the 2x because it's smaller than 4x. By doing this, you're just going to get a lot less negative numbers to deal with, and we don't like negative numbers very much. So for the next set of examples, I just want to show the first step that would be used to solve these. So draw our line down here. I'm looking at 7x and I'm looking at 2x, and I have to move one of them. So I'm going to pick the smaller of the 2. So I'm going to pick this one because 2 is smaller than 7. So to get rid of it, we are just going to subtract 2x from both sides. And by doing that, we are left with 5x plus 45 is equal to negative 16. Now I'm not having you solve the rest of these out just yet. So just practice that first step for now. We go to the next example and we see x is on both sides. So when they're on both sides, we want to get rid of one. This is a negative 1x and this is a 5x. So which one is smaller? The negative 1x is smaller. So we're going to move that negative x, and to get rid of it, we have to do the opposite. So we're going to add x to both sides. And then those x's go away, and we're left with 14 equals 6x plus 13. Again, don't solve the rest of it. We're just showing the first step. And one last example together. We have 10x and we have negative 12x. Which one is smaller? Now you might have said, well, 10 is smaller, but no. The negative 12 is smaller than a positive 10. So that's the one that we want to get rid of. So to get rid of a minus 12x, we can do plus 12x to both sides. And we're left with 22x plus 60 equals 30. Well, now you might be asking, well, what if I did move the x? So let's say hypothetically, let's go all the way back here. Let's say hypothetically you, at the beginning of this problem, went the other way, and you did minus 10x to both sides. That's just fine. You're still going to get the right answer. It'd be 60 equals, now you're just dealing with a negative 22x over here. So the reason I have us move the smaller one is because it helps eliminate these negative signs next to the x. But if you want to do it the other way, you can. As long as you follow the procedures correctly, you'll get the right answer still. So go ahead and try the next 3 on your own. So pause this video, show the next 3, and come back when you are done. All right, let's just go over those ones on your own quickly. To get rid of the 3x, we would have subtracted 3x from both sides. And you would have had 16 equals 6x minus 35. On the next one, the smaller one is negative 8. So negative 8 is smaller than 1. So I would have done plus 8x to both sides. And you'd be left with 20 equals 9x minus 50. And on this one, negative 1 or negative 4, which one's smaller? Yeah, you're right, negative 4 is smaller. So we're going to plus 4x to both sides. And we get 3x plus 22 equals 29. So hopefully you're really comfortable with that first step, and now hopefully you realize what's remaining is just a 2-step equation, which we worked on last week. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to finish off the problems and solve them all the way. So we have 3 examples before you get to sum on your own. And we'll start with our first step, 5x or 3x. Which one is smaller? The 3x is smaller. So we're going to get rid of that first. So subtract 3x from here and subtract 3x from there. Then those 3x's, they disappear. 5x take away 3x is now 2x minus 12 is equal to 16. Now we're left with a 2-step equation where we're trying to get x by itself. The first thing to get rid of is going to be that minus 12. So we will add 12 to both sides. Then those 12s go away. We are left with 2x is equal to 28. And that 2 is multiplying to the x. So to get rid of a multiply by 2, we have to do the opposite, which is divide by 2. And those 2's go away, and we're left with x is equal to 14. Two more examples together. Draw your line down the equal sign. Now we're looking at negative 4x and negative 9x. And which one is smaller? Negative 9 is smaller, so that's the one that we want to get rid of. So to get rid of a minus 9x, we just do the opposite. We will plus 9x to both sides. And then they go away. If we take negative 4x plus 9x over there, and then it's going to equal 5x, drop down the plus 13, and drop down the minus 22. Now once again, we are left with a two-step equation. Let's get rid of the plus 13 by subtracting it. On the left side, we are left with 5x. And on the right side, negative 22 take away 13. So if you have a negative number and then you're subtracting, so if you're taking away 13 more, it's going to become a bigger negative number. So in this case, it would be a negative 35. Some of you have maybe heard that, well, two negatives makes a positive. That's only when you multiply and divide. So when you're combining like terms or adding or subtracting, two negatives makes a bigger negative number. And at the very end, we'll divide by 5. And we're left with x is equal to a negative 7. So when you're dividing here, so when you're dividing and they're different signs, so one negative and one positive, then it's going to be a negative number. So if they're different signs, your answer is negative. If they're the same signs, your answer is positive. So we get x is negative 7. And one last one. Draw your line down the middle. And which one is smaller, negative 1 or positive 1? Negative 1 is going to be smaller. So that's the one we're going to get rid of first. So I'm going to add 1x to both sides. And then they go away. On the left side, we're going to drop down the 8. 1x plus 1x here will give me 2x, and then minus 13. Again, we're left with a two-step equation, so hopefully you're getting really good at these two-step equations. To get rid of minus 13, we will do plus 13. Then the 13s go away. 8 plus 13 is... I have an annoying voice that says 21 stuck in my head. Hopefully none of you said that. To get rid of the 2, we will divide by 2, divide by 2. And if you take 21 and divide it by 2, you get 10.5. And if you were to choose to leave that as a fraction, you could have left it as 21 over 2. It means the exact same thing. When it's a nice rounded decimal like this, the decimal ends like at 0.5, then you can leave it like that. If that decimal goes on forever and ever and ever, just go ahead and use the fraction version. But either of them work. So there are 9 problems for you to do on your own. So go ahead and try these 9. When you are done with them, submit them to Schoology. And so there's going to be a Schoology quiz for this assignment. And then you can check whether or not you got them right away. So good luck. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and we will see you next week when we go into maybe solving some fractions within equations. So have a good rest of your day, everyone.